Thank you for the introduction. As Fanny mentioned, I'm Clare Brown. I'm the Journal Manager at Frontiers and Sustainable Cities. I'm going to talk a little bit about Frontiers more generally, and then I'm going to talk specifically about the journal. But please, if you have any questions, we'll go through them at the end, and I'm looking forward to hearing sort of your thoughts. So, for those who aren't familiar with Frontiers, so we are currently the third most cited publisher globally of academic research. So we publish academic journals and academic research. In terms of our sort of scale, I think this gives a really good idea in terms of our kind of impact. So the two sort of publishers that are slightly above us are both chemistry focused. So in terms of being a multidisciplinary publisher, we are currently the most cited, most multidisciplinary publisher in the world. We have a little over 200 journals at the moment, and they cross over a very broad range of specialities and several different portfolios, one of which is sustainability, where Sustainable Cities is based. Some of these journals are very new. We have a bit of a mixture between very new and very well-established journals that are the leaders in their field. So far we've accrued over 2 billion article views and downloads, and a little under 3 million article citations as well. In terms of how we work, so we're a gold open access publisher, and what that means is that all of our articles, everything we publish, is freely available and accessible online. We don't publish to a schedule, so once an article goes through peer review, it gets published in our journal online, and it is accessible to anybody who essentially can access our website. We do authors keep full copyright of their articles because we do use a Creative Commons licensing, so it gives the author the ability to retain the copyright of their research, which we think is very important. We do, as we have articles that are freely available online, we do instead apply an article processing charge at the point of publication, but we do offer a very robust discount and waivers program as well to reduce the barrier to publication for as many people as possible. We do benefit from indexing, which Sustainable Cities does also benefit from, but we also have a very large promotional scheme separate to that, which looks to ensure our articles that we publish are able to reach a broad an audience as possible. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes. So in terms of how we operate, so we benefit from having a very robust journal team, but also we have an in-house bespoke developed sort of platform where all of our peer review goes through. So from the point of submission, even from the point of developing article ideas and research ideas, we work with authors and our editors to ensure that it's a fairly streamlined process. No sort of technology platform is perfect, but as it's in-house, it gives us the opportunity to continually improve it and refine it based on the feedback we receive, which we think is very important. And we also have, as I mentioned, a journal team that supports authors and topic editors all the way through from submission up to publication and through the management of their article collections as well. So we are very proud of the support that we offer the people who choose to work with us and the researchers that choose to work with us too. We are, in terms of how we support barrier-free submission, we are partnered with over 600 organisations, which means that the people who are based in these organisations, or if you have a corresponding author that's based in these organisations, typically there is very little or no fee to publish with us. We are consistently and sort of continuously expanding the volume of institutions that we work with. Previously, it had been predominantly in Europe and America, but we are expanding that now to more of a global audience, which I think is fantastic. Alongside this, we also offer a very well-established fee support program, and we often discount and remove barriers to submission by just either taking away the cost completely of publishing or discounting it quite heavily as well. So we try and support researchers from across the globe being able to submit and publish their articles with us. So in terms of Frontiers and Sustainable Cities, so we're a journal that launched in 2019. We're led by Professor James Evans, who's based at the University of Manchester in the UK. It's a multidisciplinary journal that essentially is looking to help advance the debate and research around urban sustainability. So it's looking at creating a very multidisciplinary sort of approach. As you'll see in a second, we have several different themes that are the focus in the journal, and it's all about creating collaboration across different disciplines to help solve some of the major global challenges that we face. So we benefited very recently from receiving our first impact factor this year. We're at a nice point in the journal now in that we're focusing very heavily on trying to engage with researchers and build quality in the journal and ensure that we're a very highly regarded sort of platform for accessing peer-reviewed content. Just in terms of our journal goals, so it's very much around engaging with researchers. So we're a very trusted platform and a trusted place where people can access peer-reviewed content. It's also very much about highlighting kind of thought-provoking discourse and new perspectives. We want to ensure that researchers from across sort of career sort of range, so everything from early career researchers to mid-career researchers to very well-established researchers, feel welcome and able to contribute towards the debate and the discussion around urban sustainability in our journal. We're very much focused on building a community around the journal to help sort of build the debate, and we're also focused on supporting events and sort of different programs that will also look at trying to advance the debate in different ways as well. So it's not just from a journal perspective and an article perspective, but also more broadly as well. In terms of the journal itself, so we have a little over 1,000 editors. We now have just over 550 articles published. So as I mentioned, we're at a nice sort of scale in terms of having a good sort of catalogue of articles across a broad range of themes, which are of interest to different researchers. We group collections together in something we call research topics, and they tend to be around a specific theme, and we work with researchers who'd like to curate a collection around that specific theme. So I'll talk a little bit more about those in a second, but so far we have just over 100 of those in our journal, and they are quite well regarded and they're very well accessed, and we have a good amount of impact from those collections specifically. So as I mentioned, we've recently received our impact factor, so we have an impact factor of we actually have an impact factor of 2.8, not 3.2. Apologies, I'm not quite sure why that says 3.2. But we are hoping to build on that in the next year. So as I mentioned, as we received that this year, we're now at a good place to continue to grow. In terms of our journal itself, so we're actually split into 12 sections. The reason we split our journals into sections is so we can have dedicated editorial boards that have specific expertise in different areas. And we think when we have specific expertise in different areas, it allows us to create sort of collaborative sort of groups, so people are able to work together and to collaborate on research together in different ways, and it helps build networks of researchers as well. It also means that we can take advantage of the fact that urban sustainability has several different components in it and several different elements that are relevant to researchers, and really try and expand and add towards the research sort of foundation around different themes as well. So it's part of our kind of process to, as I mentioned, create communities around these different themes, and to grow specific academic communities in each of these themes as well. So as I mentioned, we group articles together in article collections. We call them research topics. So research topics are essentially, they're very similar to special issues, but we work with topic editors to develop ideas, and we'll curate a collection around a sort of idea and around their field of expertise. We find that these collections tend to receive a lot more sort of views and downloads and citations than if an article is sort of standalone. And we also find that collections like this are easier for policymakers and decision makers to find quite accessible, and to find research around a specific theme that they might be looking for to support their work as well. So just to give you an idea of some of the things that we have the collections that we have in the journal so far, I've got sort of highlighted 3 of the themes here, but the themes span all across the different sections that we have, and we're always looking to work with researchers to sort of develop new collections that we think are particularly relevant to the academic community. Alongside our sort of more general outreach with the research community, we also work with several notable organisations to try and bridge the gap between the research community and practitioners and professionals and policymakers. So as a couple of examples of that, so we have a research topic just on the left, Advancing Climate Action, that was launched on Monday. Frontiers has 3 sessions of COP this year, and so this research topic is led by the field chief editors of some of our most prominent journals, Sustainable Cities included, and it's all about bringing research into the debate there, and to ensure that when decisions are being made and policies are being developed and regulations are being crafted, that it very much takes scientific outputs into consideration for that as well. Alongside that, we're also partnering with the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change at the moment to develop a collection that's very focused on case studies and policymakers to try and help bring additional evidence and additional case studies around things that have worked, interventions that have worked in places to support a move to a more sustainable practices. Finally, I just wanted to finish up on this sort of slide, because impact at Frontiers means several different things. So we have the more traditional academic impact that is all around views and citations. However, we do also have a team at Frontiers that focuses very much on ensuring articles have a very broad impact. So particularly in the field of sustainability, where articles have a real world sort of implication, we look to make sure that research gets into as broad an audience as possible. So we have a team of people that work to take the published articles and try and get them into places that more people will be able to see them. So more of a mass media sort of approach. But we find when we do this, it helps get the research kind of outputs into a broader audience, and that has an additional impact benefit for authors as well. So if you're interested in finding out more about sustainable cities, or if you'd like to work with us in future, please do feel free to reach out to me, or you're welcome to reach out to the journal specifically as well. We'd be more than happy just to talk through ideas, or if you have any questions, then we can also answer those for you as well.